Oh no. I have no idea why that was muted. This is the I guess I would have to share the recording on Facebook or something like that. Sorry guys. Stupid mic. This is the point where I know. I just looked at the comments, was like, oh, the no sound part. Oh man, that's almost 20 minutes. Anyways, okay, let's compact that into summarize because the mic was on mute the whole time on Facebook. So, in retrospect, what I was sharing basically is where, in general, where humanity like puts a lot of things into perspective, where they try to judge, they try to go into opinion, they try to go into survival mode, and bypassing of a lot of things and putting on the back burner all the way up to the point where everything is no longer allowed to be delayed and it pushes it to the front. And this is where things bleed into the experience. We start having a lot of triggers, we start having a lot of impacts, we start having a lot of experiences where ultimately it is overwhelming to us because we're deflecting, we're bypassing, we are blaming, we are projecting, and we're not actually accepting the responsibility that is our own energy, is our own thoughts, is our own manifestation of what we are doing in our choices that is actually manifesting that experience. This now causes a lot of things to take place in a lot of ways. So at this point, we also are manifesting a lot of things in our external experience that are causing a lot of conflict because the experience is meant to slow you down. It's meant to raise a lot of bars, raise a lot of red flags, awareness, sirens, everything to get you to slow down in a lot of ways to where you have a moment, right? But also by this point of procrastinating and delaying things, choosing to deny and be deflective, we have built up a lot of tension and energy in our internal being too. This can result in a lot of things of physical pain, soreness, stiffness. This can result in a lot of different things about emotional issues where we are just very snappy, we're very irritable, very aggravative in a lot of different ways. And this can cause a lot of frustration within us because our experience, our natural state where we are in this moment is already frustrated, right? So we already can't be calm. We already can't be patient. You know, calmness, patience, being compassionate, being tolerant, those are already out the window, right? If you're already in that state of aggravation, irritability, those frequencies are a very big gap away to where we have to slow down and be like, breathe, right? Breathe through your nose, breathe through your mouth, exhaling. And allow yourself to get your footing on where you are in the moment. Don't let the thoughts just take you somewhere because there's a lot of thoughts coming through. There's a lot of things coming up from the surface, a lot of emotions releasing. And if we don't have a centered anchor on our internal being, our thoughts are going to lift you up and they're going to take you somewhere, right? We can get so easily distracted with thoughts, with memories of different emotional attachments, different triggers, different traumas and issues we just have with life, our own limitations and boundaries. And this ultimately doesn't do anything for us, right? This is a point where, you know, I shared this with someone today. You know, definitely the journaling is going to get it's going to get everyone very far, especially during these moments where we are starting to merge, you know, from Libra, and especially just to reheart you, the Libra time frame is definitely a lot of like internal hibernation is where we start turning to more of an internal state of being, but also there's a lot of emotional, a lot of mental things purging coming to the surface. So it's coming into our awareness. We are seeing these things, we are feeling them, we are perceiving them on some level. They're coming to our experience. And as we start shifting more into Scorpio season, it's about 2 weeks out now. You know, as we start shifting more into Scorpio season, it's gonna move us more into a very like turbulent cycle like process. This is so important for us to have these moments with ourselves to write everything down, write everything that is coming to the surface, write it down, express yourself, say it out loud. And that's another key thing too with healing. That's a powerful way of healing is Saying things out loud and allowing your own ears to hear your own voice say the things that have been always going on in your mind, right? If we sit there quiet the whole time because we're trying to be in self-composure or self-restraint or self-control, because there's other people around us, there's other things going on in our environment that aren't necessarily accepting of what's going on inside or what we're feeling, what we are thinking. That does not matter, right? You need to be able to allow yourself the moment and the time to be at least in your own space, away from everything and everyone that's distracting you, and allow yourself to say the things out loud that have always been just kind of like rolling in within inside yourself. Let your ears hear your own voice say these things. A lot of the healing process, a lot of the release will come from you just actually admitting and accepting things to yourself. And a lot of that will be a part of you actually being able to put it into words and say it out loud to yourself. And you actually hear yourself be able to say that out loud. It's going to be a big step for a lot of you because so many things are being kept inside. So much stuff is being crammed down, being like, oh, well, that's not important. Oh, I'm not going to focus on that. Oh, that I don't want to say that aloud. Well, oh, that I would never show that to other people. Well, who cares about that, right? It's not really about other people. But if you are shortcoming yourself, if you are cutting your feet off, you have no one to blame but yourself once you get to the end result and realize you've created a lot more work for yourself, right? Nothing is deniable. Everything in this experience must transform and evolve to the higher. Therefore, there's no part of yourself that you get to cut off, you get to put into, less importance or undervalue of yourself, because everything goes. Everything is meant to shift and transform and flip to the higher. But if you spend too much importance and time and focus on trying to weigh and value things out of comparison with other people or what you believe and trying to compare yourself to that belief system, that's simply not going to work. It's going to create more work for yourself, and also it's going to create more of a distance and a stubbornness within yourself, a numbness, right? You're not able to interface with higher consciousness and vibration if you're trying to attach to a lower vibration and way of being, right? And this is where I express with a lot of you who, again, like me and Faith. Me and Faith have, we definitely went very far through the Reiki, system. We both became Reiki masters, and definitely did that for years. And, just working with that energy, working with that modality and for years, and understanding that and experiencing that, and then also meeting Mom and being able to integrate and evolve things. There are so many things that are set as traps on this planet to disempower you, to take your power away, to take your sense of expression and thought away from you and your creativity away from you, and enforce you to submit to an already decided template, right? And this also with humanity being so disempowered and not feeling confident with themselves to make a choice or even to stand on their own truth, a lot of times they are left to just constantly bending and yielding to what someone else has left behind, what someone else has decided, what someone else has chosen as, this is the way to do it. And then decide to do that for another 50 years. But if everything in life changes, if even the seasons, if even the weather changes, if even we are changing, every single day, at what point do you honestly believe that any kind of modality, any kind of way of healing should never be allowed to change? Must stay within these parameters, must stay within these rules and these parameters, never to extend outside those. Well, who put this on the table? I want to talk to them. That's not evolution. That's not 5D. That's not expansion. That's not multidimensionality. It's someone else's way of control and way of trying to take credit for something that completely is a part of creation, has always been a part of creation. There's nothing on this planet, there's nothing going on right now that has been created by humanity. Nothing, honestly. We have been using what has been made available to us and accessible as a resource. We don't have that full credibility in creating that. We are not the ones who have created that whole thing in entirety. No. We have used many resources in abundance from Mother, from this earth, from this planet, from each other. And so this is where we start to learn that we are one. We start moving back to that center core of truth where everything is one. There is no just you. There's no just what you want. Ooh, did you hear that? Ice came down. Ice avalanche in the freezer. So there's no what you want. There's no what you desire. There's no just what you think should happen at all at any point. It is a collective experience entirely. Even when God was physically on this planet, it was always a collective experience every single day with God. What is the collective doing? Where's the collective at? Checking the collective. What the collective doing with this experience? Is the collective accepting? Is the collective resisting? The collective is pushing this back, Mom. It was always a collective experience every single time, even when God herself was physically on this planet. And has never stopped being a physical experience. It is only humanity where somehow we have decided where we just unplug ourselves entirely and we get stuck in our own little bubble, our own little world where we think our own issues and our own problems are the biggest thing on the block. And we run around with a billboard sign saying, hey, do you see this? Do you care? It was like, no, we don't care. We don't have time to care. Do you see the planet? Do you see 8 billion people who are just as fucked as you are? So you can put the sign down and realize that it's not just about your issues, it's about 8 billion people's issues and how we are going to move 8 billion people back into unity, back into love, back into whole healing, back into truth, back into awareness and conscious discernment. To where we are not an entire planet of 8 billion people flying blind in fight or flight mode, scared to make a choice or even stand their own ground. Right? There is a lot of things that must be done. It's going to require a lot of people to stand up. It's going to require a lot of people to stand in their truth. And this also is for the leaders too. This is not even easy for the leaders. And for a lot of you out there that think you are not leaders, you are leaders. For a lot of you out there that think that you are not the ones that are going to stand in front of collective masses and speak your truth and be an example and show them how to love themselves deeper, you are the ones. That is the deeper truth to humanity's unworthiness and their disbelief even within their own self. That they truly don't believe that they can be something great and grand. That they have very limited, very minimal to offer to God, in creation, and to humanity. That they don't know, they've never met these people, they don't know their life, their experience, they've never had their trauma before. What could they possibly offer these people? What could they possibly teach or show them? You would be very, very surprised. Because you see, it isn't just you making these choices. It isn't just you that's controlling everything. It isn't just you that's pushing everything in motion. Before you even come to these thoughts, before you even had these ideas, God already had these things in place. God has already pushed these things into motion long before you even come to this idea that, what can I even contribute to society? God already handled that 10, 20, 30 years ago. Made sure you were set for it, made sure you were prepared for it. So by the time you came to that idea and that understanding, you were already ready for it. You were already prepared. You already had the experience. You already had the wisdom to move forward in that idea and grow now. She just needed you to have the idea, the realization. What are you to become? Where is next? Where will you go from here? What will you grow from here into? It's your choice. And where you have been, what you have been through, what you've endured, what you've learned from, what you've experienced, all of that now is your gauge. All of that now is your guidance. And now what you will choose going forward, which way will you go? Will you go to a higher timeline? Will you move to a lower? Because you honestly cannot say that you are truly ignorant or truly unaware, because God has fully prepared you for each experience moving into it. Right? Yes, we are innocent because we constantly in every single moment don't know shit. We do not know what is going on in this physical experience, plus merging with the etheric. All kinds of things are transpiring. I just had an experience yesterday that was completely out of the blue, and it was something completely I didn't even expect it. You know, everything is changing and shifting. What we are merging into with the 5D is changing our very consciousness of what we accept as possible, what we accept as, you know, reasonable, or as a part of, you know, our life importance. And in a lot of ways, at this point, we have to come to this point where we're like, okay, are we overloading ourselves with information? Are we making this trip too hard? Are we focusing on a lot of different irrelevant things that absolutely have nothing to do with what we are going through right now? And is that, you know, escapism? Is that distraction? Is that me being aloof with myself to where we ultimately never get to the point of what we have to focus on because we fill our time? We stall ourselves with so many different irrelevant things, distractions, right? This is the point of self-accountability and self-responsibility, where we have to hold ourselves accountable. We have to call ourselves out. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I know the mic was muted for a long moment. The mic was muted for like 20 minutes on Facebook. I deeply apologize to you beautiful people. But yeah. So, you know, definitely. So the process of elimination, right? This is where we have to get very discerning with ourselves. Where are you at right now in this moment? What are you working on? What are you working with? What are you feeling right now? This is where everyone gets the piece of paper, gets the pen, pencil, whatever you like to write with, and you start writing down all these different thoughts, all these different emotions, every single thing that is coming up inside of you that is causing distraction, that is causing an emotion or anything. You know, even if it's a constant thought you're having, write it down, right? These are the important moments where we have to focus on what is internally going on. We have to get a gauge. We have to get a clear view of what's going on inside ourselves and what we are choosing and doing and what that is equaling to in our life. There's ultimately no blame. There is no one to blame in your life at all. I'm sorry, there's no one. So if there's no one to blame, but there's disorder, there's dysfunction, but there's no one to blame, then that really only leaves one person to really look at, and there's one person to really deal with. There's one person to apply all our actions to get a different experience to, and that is you, right? If there's no one to blame, no one to project onto, there's really only you, your reflection to look at and realize the truth within yourself. Where's your shortcoming at? Where's your limitation? Where's your boundary at? Where's your refusal, your rebellion, your resistance, your lack of surrender at? Where are you at in the experience where you are making the experience more intense, more unenjoyable? Right? If not even you, being a conscious observer and being in this life that's pushing for ascension and the awakening of humanity, if not even you as a human being can accept this and allow this process, then you are also part of the resistance blocking the ascension of humanity, right? By you choosing not to allow yourself to grow in maturity and expand and let go of what your boundaries and what your walls are, what life means to you, what you expect human life to be, what you expect your life to look like, what the results and what it produces for you. If you cannot let go and allow all multidimensional aspects, every experience, if life and creation is everything and all things, and there are no rules in heaven, then where do we honestly get this sense of boundaries and limitations at? Where did you get the sense of that you needed to set this limitation and you don't really go past this? Where did you get the box from? Where did you get the sense of staying within familiarity, but you're like, oh, that's just not my thing? oh, this, I don't really do that. Like, oh, I don't really like that. Like, I don't really, that's more your thing. Where do we get this point where we automatically decide that it's just not for us, right? And I learned a lot of this from mom too. Mom was like, she is constantly very spontaneous. She loved new experiences. Everything from food to music to like just dresses and just all kinds of different things. Things that are new, things that brought new feelings, new experiences, new ideas, new, creativity to her, to where she could apply that in a new way now. It's new, it's beautiful, it's grand, it's magical, it's childlike wonder. It's grand. And that's the way mom was, and where us as humanity, we try to control things and wrestle everything to the ground where we choke it to death. And it comes out as this very plain Jane, very depressed, stagnant, depleted, sense of material that we all consume and congest. It's nothing colorful. It's nothing really overly expressive and grand and really very in depth with feeling. Everyone is so scared of feeling. Everyone is so scared of really being vulnerable with themselves and other people and really allowing themselves to see the truth. That we're actually all children. We're all just brilliant geniuses, curious about life and just applying different concepts and ideas and living in paradise. Childhood, which is the queendom of heaven. But until we all wake up and realize this, until we accept this for ourselves, we are never going to get to the point where we can let go and stop being so tense, stop being so attached to what we think is supposed to be the belief systems in life and what God is supposed to be for us. That was one of the things, I'll share that now, that's one of the biggest triggers I feel for the trolls and everybody out there. When mom was physically incarnated here and, for the last couple of years, that was one of the biggest triggers for them. Everyone's perceptions, everyone's judgments and their opinions and their projections of what God was to them, what God is supposed to be and what God is supposed to do, what God is supposed to look like, what God is supposed to sound like, what God is supposed to say. We saw all these projections and these blames and just, energy being thrown continuously for years from ignorant people around the world. Just throwing energy at God because they thought they knew better than God. They thought they knew who God was and what God is supposed to do and be like and how God is supposed to, the essence of God. They thought they knew. They thought they had it all planned out and down. And this is the ignorance and thinking they know better, the energy on this planet with humanity, where it blocks a very mass portion of humanity from even connecting with Creator. Because they think they got their own version of it, and it's not her. That is not love. That is not truth. That is not Prime Source Creator. But they think they've got it, so then they think they can justify their own actions through that. And she's just like, okay, you want to spin? You want to go through the deep end? You want to figure out the hard way? Go ahead. I love you anyways. Tough love. I'll see you soon, right? You'll end up back at her. You'll end up back at where you started. And it's inevitable. But at the same time, it's like, it's completely unnecessary to choose a harder path, to choose a lower road for yourself simply because you're attached to a point. You're attached to proving something. You're attached to some kind of external evidence or some, internal desire to be right. For what? At what point? It doesn't amount to anything, and ultimately it just takes your energy and it spoils and taints a lot of your pathing along the way. Not sure. I don't know. Someone tried to call me. Hello? Testing? No, the mic's on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the mic's on. I was like making sure the mic's on. The mic's on Telegram, I'm pretty sure. And then it's on live stream now. So, yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of technology these days. Mercury retrograde is still very much in motion, so of course technology and a lot of things are quite sensitive these days. So we move forward and we surrender. So yes, definitely with, we just had a new moon, about 2 days ago now. So, definitely focusing more on gratitude, focusing more on our goals, focusing more on what we want to build on, what we want to really apply a lot of our intention and focus to in these moments. If you are still attached to a lot of the bullshit that's been happening before, if you're still attached to what happened beyond 2 days ago, let it go. These are not the moments. During the new moon, especially in these moments after the equinox and 9/9 portal and everything that's going on, and and everything that's in retrograde right now, these are not the energies. I'm telling you right now, these are not the energies to be fixated and obsessed about any one thing at all. You let it go quickly, you stay completely unattached, and you maintain a sense of unattachment and stability. Just be centered, and you just allow and embrace and keep letting go. These are not the energies to be sitting there trying to wrestle with yourself, trying to play tug of war with any single person, with anything going on. There is so much right now going on collectively that is transpiring and shifting and moving. If you are going to lose sight of yourself, lose sight of your centering, and get attached in all the spin going on, that is your choice. But I'm telling you right now, it is unnecessary. It is completely not the highest for anyone at this point right now on this planet. Everyone is solely to be focused on right now on themselves. This energy is very turbulent. It's a lot of momentum. So if you do focus on yourself and reflect, you can actually use that energy as a catalyst and allow a lot of energy to move through and release through yourself. Now, if you're going to fixate and trouble yourself with all the drama and things that are going on, this is a very key point, okay? If it's happening in front of you in your experience in the physical reality, it's too late, right? It's already happened. It's already physically manifested. There's nothing you can absolutely do about it. At that point, when it's physically happening in your life, all you can do is accept, embrace, and allow it. Do not refuse it. Do not deny it, because it's clearly happening. That means it's truly happening within life. So if you deny it, it's you going into fantasy. It's you going into denial. It doesn't change anything in true reality. It's still the same, right? And this is where we have to get very, very clear with ourselves and be very transparent, and not allow ourselves just to fall off of, the saddle. I definitely drink some water. Whew. My lips were getting very dry and parched. So, definitely, writing ceremonies, gratitude ceremonies, I gave this advice a little bit earlier today, getting a piece of paper, a pen, pencil, marker, crayon, whatever you like to write with, and literally writing, dear angels, and writing down every single thing that you are absolutely grateful for. Okay? Every single thing. Don't focus on the problems. Don't focus on the drama. Don't focus on all the issues. Don't focus on the pain. We all know, right? Excuse me. It's as simple as this, right? God is all-knowing. God is aware of everything. So if you go to God complaining, if you go to God with problems and issues, God is literally going to sit there and be like, okay, yeah. Like literally, I clearly have seen this already. I watched this all week long, but now you're going to come crying to me saying the same thing I'm already aware of, right? And this is the, don't take this personal. This is nothing personal. I want you to really listen to me, because this is important, right? A lot of people go to God and complain. A lot of people go to God and use their prayer time to complain about all things that are wrong, what their pain is, the issues they're having, all this other crap, right? Let me make something very, very clear to you. The one time people choose to go to God and pray, it's for issues and drama and crap. God's clearly aware of that. God already knows what's going on. But we, human beings, in our self-importance, choose the one time we go to actually spend and pray and beg to God, we choose to spend that time and that energy on crap, drama, problems, issues. None of it is about gratitude. None of it is about love. None of it is about higher perspective or motivation or anything benefiting or helping your well-being or anything like that. It's completely fixated on being a crybaby, on being a drama queen, about being a complain Jane. I don't even know what. I've never said that word before, a complain Jane. That's the new one. Just sitting there being dramatic the entire time. None of it's productive. None of it's expansive. It's completely fixated on a lower dynamic and a lower frequency, a lower perspective. And the longer you stay there, the longer you're going to be in that energy. And it's going to completely, contort your body. It's going to dictate a lot of your emotional energy and just everything you're going through, These are where we have to really ease up. We have got to ease up. We have got to relax. We've got to breathe. It's not a race, people. It absolutely is not a race, okay? Whoever you're racing, it's yourself. If you're being competitive with yourself, that's dumb too. I know there's a saying out there where people are like, well, I'm not competitive to other people, but I'm competitive with myself. Well, that's stupid too. Why are you competing with yourself? That doesn't really sound like self-love. You can't really say that's love if you're competing against, because that means you're not seeing yourself as equals. Competition is ego. There's no way in any way at all that you can, put competition as a divine frequency. It's not divine at all. It's not love at all, right? So we're not here to be competitive even with ourselves. We're meant here to expand ourselves, to learn and grow and mature. We're not here to be competitive. Being competitive with yourself, that just shows that you're being less compassionate. It shows that you're being less nurturing, less patient with yourself. And it shows that you're being pushy, almost like a bully. And bullies just push. They just sit there and poke you all day long. And if that's what you're doing to yourself, that's not really love. You can't say that's loving yourself. If you're sitting there poking and prodding yourself, expecting, raising the bar, and holding yourself to higher expectations and requirements, and it just takes all day long. It takes your whole mental process, everything, and consumes you trying to keep up pace with this higher than, it's just absolutely ridiculous. It's pathetic, Instead of allowing yourself to have the carrot, we'll sit there, our egos will dangle the carrot in front of our face the entire time. Oh, come on. Oh, jump a little higher. Oh, keep going a little further. Yep, keep coming. Here you go. It's like holding the carrot or the bone in front of you, and then you're like the dog. It just keeps running forever and ever trying to get the bone. And it's always going to be the same distance because you'll never lower the bar for yourself. You'll never actually support yourself. You'll just sit there and compare yourself to external realities or other people, and then you set the bar to there, and then you sit there and make yourself trying to chase after your own support, chase after your own love, and until you meet that, that whatever it is that you have attached to, that you have, put on a pedestal, you'll never love yourself. You'll never give yourself the credit or the gratification or the acceptance. And that's very sad. But that's where a lot of us are in a lot of ways, right? Because we truly don't believe that what we are and who we are is acceptable or is lovable. So where we are constantly observing from an external standpoint what other people are doing, what they look like, what they're doing, what they're saying, and then watching the attention people get, watching what they're getting, what's manifesting for them. Are they having a grander life? Are they having more attention, more experiences, more cooler reality experiences than we are having? And if they are, then ultimately we get stuck into this belief system that if we do the things that those people are doing, then ultimately we'll end up happy like those people. And this is absolutely not the truth. None of that absolutely is the truth at all. Right? it's a certain type of mimic energy where we don't want to live for ourselves. We're too afraid, too distrusting in ourselves to live for ourselves. So we will observe and attach to somebody else outside of ourselves, right? And what they do, we do. How they walk and talk, we walk and talk. How they move and dress, we move and dress. And that's a deeper level of complete inadequacy within ourselves, to where we completely shove our own internal individuality out the way, our own internal essence, and we literally try to conform to another being's experience, trying to mimic, trying to copy and lift their experience onto our own, right? A lot of people go through this too. It's a deep part of self-hatred, to where apparently whatever you've gone through in your life, whatever experiences you've had, and whatever you've had to grown up through with trauma and everything like that, it is at this point distasteful to you, is unsatisfactory, to where you have relinquished your own self. You have disbarred yourself from life, and you have excused yourself from your awareness. And to where we fixate and obsess on other people. We need other people to be the life for us. We need to have children now. We need to have relationships. We need to have other things that we can attach to, obsess, and control. Meaning it fills us, in the external way. It fills our time and our day and our thoughts and attention, to the point where we think we have a life. When we really don't have a life. We have obsessed with other things to distract ourselves. And ultimately we have put ourselves in a deeper hole. A big pickle in a lot of ways, The only way out of this, honestly, is truly to face yourself. There's really no guru, magical experience to go through that can, heal this. The simple is the way to go. Simple is the way to go, absolutely. Simplicity is divinity. And literally, a lot of times, it just takes people sitting down with themselves in a quiet room. And I remember this. I will definitely resonate with a lot of you. I remember, the moments quite vividly in the last years where I could not sit in a single room by myself with absolute quietness. I couldn't do it. The thoughts and the ideas and what my imagination was, conjuring, in my mind, it was absolutely intense, and I could not handle it. It was scary for me to be by myself with my own thoughts, to where I had to do something. I had to constantly, be somewhere, be focused on something, and it lasted a while. I resonate with all of you, but this is a big part of it, okay? So a lot of the healing and a lot of the, moving to a more confident, stable, space within ourselves, anchored within our heart, is going to come from us directly facing ourselves, being assertive and directive, being able to be transparent with ourselves, looking yourself in the face, in the mirror, looking yourself in the eyes and saying, I love you. I respect you. I honor you. I appreciate you. I support you. I uplift you. I honor you. I have so much compassion and nurturing for you, and patience and tolerance for you. I wish you peace. Have you ever said those things to yourself? Have you ever spent the moments to say any of those things to yourself, let alone all of them? And if you haven't, what are you waiting for? Because surely you've spent moments on saying those things to other people. I'm sure you have. Whether it was in writing and text or with your own words, you've said those things before, I'm sure. Some of them at least. But yet, when was the last time you said any of those things to yourself by looking in your own eyes and actually giving that back to yourself? It's been a long time, hasn't it? And that's where we need to start working on. Every single part of ourselves where we have denied, where we have abandoned, where we have neglected, giving attention and love and focus to, those are the points we now turn back to and start fulfilling with love. With purpose, with intention, solid intention based out of love. Not half-ass, not just off of a whim, not just trying to be impatient with yourself and trying to push through it just because you want to get over with it. Out of love, respect, truth, integrity, honor, love, right? And we move forward because that's a solid foundation. That is a solid, stable foundation that anything you build on that will last. But people are so impatient and want to just fly off the handle all the time, just make a choice. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, put that there. Yeah, like, oh, what does that do for me? No, how about you sit your butt down and you do the work and you follow yourself through this process so you understand your process for yourself. So you are empowered, so you are confident, so you can trust yourself. So anything you apply within yourself or outside of yourself, you are confident and you can do fully within your own power. Boom. That's divinity, people. Absolute divinity right there. Okay? You have to be able to give it to yourself in order to receive it. If you don't want to give it to yourself, do not be standing there on the side of the road with your hand out looking for a handout. It's not coming because you're not going to give it to yourself in the first place. Why should anyone or anything give it to you then? Right? Be honest with yourself. Be very transparent. All right. I love all of you beautiful people. Good night. Good morning to all of you. I do apologize for the whole mic thing in the beginning of the stream. I guess it was like 20 minutes that are kind of muted. I apologize. So we will, I guess, figure that part out. I don't know. But then there's also an audio on Telegram too that we can share too, that everyone have the full recording too for that. So we'll figure it out. All in all, it's whatever was highest, how the angels had it. So I love you all. Take care of yourself. Please ground, do ceremonies. If you have not done that for the new moon that happened 2 days ago, it's not too late these days. It moves out to about 5 days, so you have a couple more days to focus on that, really do intentional writing and focusing on expressing your truth in yourself. Don't focus on nobody else. It's not about anyone else. It's not about your problems with anyone else. It's about what you are going through, how you feel about it, what your thoughts are. Get it out on paper, say it out in front of you, allow your ears to hear your own words say it. So much healing, transformation will come for that. So I love you all. Take care of yourself. We will be back tomorrow morning with probably Kat and Elle. Who knows? But if not Kat and Elle, it'll be Buddha and Jerry. But we will put the intention out, and we will just see who shows up tomorrow as a surprise. So love you all, and I will see you all tomorrow evening. I'm pretty sure there will be a podcast tonight for Silver Lining. That'll probably be around probably 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. So look out for that update. I will be posting for that. And other than that, I love you all and enjoy your evening and morning. All right. Good night, everyone. I love you. Take care.